Hello, hello. Oh, God, sorry. I go. Guys, I'm terrible sorry. I don't know what the story of my computer is still. Sometimes I use this and it's working fine. I leave Bluetooth. So guys, I'm terrible sorry. We lost around 5 minutes. And as I said before, it's just something because I keep using this computer and this phone for different computers. Sometimes I just lose it. But anyway, good morning, everyone. Thanks for your patience, guys. So it's nice to have everyone here. Let me just, so we are here on Facebook. We are here on YouTube also. So before we start, guys, as usual, I would like to do our initial prayer, if that's all right for everyone. Good morning, Elsa. Good morning, Cassia. Good morning, Stephen, Roberta, Juliana, Cassia, Cynthia. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here, guys. So if everyone is okay with that, I'd like to ask ourselves to close our eyes for those who feel comfortable, just to do our initial prayer as usual. Thanks. So let's calm down ourselves, concentrate ourselves at this present time, at this present moment, where we are about to start our studies of the Spiritism teachings of the Gospel of our Master Jesus. We'd like to ask the presence of good spirits, the mentors of the Spiritist Society of Ireland, my mentor himself, to help and support in this live here today. So may the work of the Spiritists shine today. I hope this study may be fruitful to each one of us. Thank God for the opportunity for this work one more time, and so be it. Okay, guys, I'm gonna share here my screen. Yes, share screen. There we are. Share application window. Okay. Okay, guys. So today I gave this speech before, but with shorter time. We're gonna be talking about the basic principles of Spiritism. I know there are some faces here who have heard me, who have seen me doing this speech before when we were at the Spirit Society of Ireland in the Lantern Center. But today I'm gonna have a bit more time. But instead of talk about all the topics, still I'm gonna be talking only about the first 3 topics, which is the existence of God, the existence of the soul and its immortality, reincarnation or evolution of the spirit. So we're going to start. Again, good morning, everyone, and sorry for the technical problems. Let's start. First, here, I love this slide because we have 3 pictures here which present 2 things which perhaps are perfect, which is Earth and the human body, but also we have here this wonderful cake, which we can say it's quite perfect, at least for me, who is terrible at doing desserts. You know, I don't know how to do any kind of dessert at all. I'm terrible at baking. But anyway, we can see that these 3 things here, they have one thing very similar here to each other. As I said, it's certain level of perfection, or, you know, looking nice or being nice. And we can say that accidents cannot create something perfect. Why I say that? I'm going to start from the cake. If I take all the ingredients of this cake, I don't know, chocolate, soda, flour, sugar, those who knows what I'm missing, please let me know, cream, whatever. If you take all these ingredients and I put in a black bag or in a shaker, you know, and I just shake everything and throw, you know, without measuring, without putting the properly proportion for each ingredient, just throw everything there and then throw on the table. Am I gonna get this wonderful cake as it is? I don't think so. Okay, So this cake, which is such a small thing and a really simple thing once you compare to the other two pictures, even this simple element, this simple thing here, needs care, needs time, needs preparation, needs time, needs someone intelligent to do it. If we talk about the human body or the planet Earth and the universe, we're going to go even further. So we think about our physical body, and we know that our physical body, it's a perfect machine. So in this perfect machine here, it wasn't only done by accident. If you cannot create a simple cake without preparing and thinking, imagine this perfect physical body. Same as for the planet Earth. We are not saying Spiritism is not against the theory that the Big Bang happened. We had this huge explosion, and throughout millions of years, the globes, they start to exist. The physical body starts to exist. We are not against this. Spiritists, we are not creationists in a traditional way per se, but Spiritism believes that there is a force, an intelligent force, which generated this explosion, which generated this creation. And this creation, as we know, quantum physics, says to us, astronomy, that the universe is at least 14 billion years old. So this creation takes time. It's not something that, okay, let's create and that's it. So there was no a God. I'm going to explain it a bit further. There was no being who said, okay, let's create and that's it. In 7 days, I will do everything. No. Perfect things which they're going to have life habiting them, such as the planet Earth. The planet Earth has millions of lives, millions of species, has like all these different areas where it's cold and where its geography is completely different, everywhere. So this kind of characteristics needs time, and time here is the main player. And here, just we go here, we have in the spirits books, when Kardec asks the spirits in the question 4, right in the beginning of the book, where may we find the proof of the existence of God? And the spirits are quite simple. In the axiom or the truth, you apply to all your sciences. There is no effect without a cause. If you would search for the cause of whatever is not the work of human beings, then reason will answer your question. So the spirits are simply saying to Kardec, as we were talking before, there is no accidents we can create something like this. There is no chance in the universe creation. There was a force behind. This force we call God, but you can call any name you want. And the problem, once we call God, we associate God with religion. And the Spiritism tries to disassociate with religion. It does not mean that religion is not an important part. It is an important part. But as we will see further on, science, works hand to hand with religion. So we cannot only use the religious aspect to describe God. We have to use science also to describe God. And again, God is just a name that we on earth we use. But we can say that this God is the energy, is the force. Some people, they call it Mother Nature. Some people call it, the universal energy, whatever. The name you may give. As the Spirit says to us, says to Kardec, the words you may choose, because your language is quite poor, Kardec. Your language on earth is quite poor. So the Spirit, they didn't care how Kardec would name it. As long as Kardec understood, and as long as we understand the concept behind. And there is a short comment in Kardec's, the Spirit's reply in the question 4, where Kardec says, to believe in God, we need only to behold the works of creation. The universe exists. Therefore, it must have a cause. To doubt God's existence would be to deny that every effect has a cause, and to believe that something could have resulted from nothingness. So again, nothingness cannot create something complex, something powerful. So in science, we say there is no effect without a cause. Why we don't apply the same axiom, the same truth to the universe? So to believe that there was just an explosion because there was two atoms, two molecules which were there, like this with each other and shocking, and they exploded without an intelligent being behind to coordinate this process. For Spiritism, and particularly for myself, with all respect to different opinions, it doesn't really make sense, because science proves to us, simple baking cake proves to us, all things that we have around us proves to us that we need an intelligence thing to create something complex, to create an intelligent creation, something that is relevant. And Einstein, for those who doesn't know, Einstein was a Jew. But Einstein, according to his history, he had certain difficulties to believe in the Jewish tradition. With all respect to Jewish tradition, we Spiritists, we come from the Jewish tradition, the Christians, Jesus was a Jew, all the great people around the Jesus time, the apostles, they were Jews also. So we have a vastly respect for the Jewish tradition. But Einstein, he could not really have this concept that one God only helps one group of people, as we see in the Old Testament, So Einstein had some certain difficulties to assimilate this personal God. That's the expression, a personal God. So Einstein, had said once that everyone who is seriously committed to the cultivation of science becomes convinced that in all the laws of the universe is manifested a spirit vastly superior to man, and to which, with our powers, we must feel humble. So Einstein, he's admitting the existence of this vastly huge, immense spirit, which is much more superior than us, 1,000,000,000 times superior than us. But he's not believing again in a kind of traditional way of a God. He's not believing the traditional God, which helps certain people and perhaps may condemn the others. Who, for example, if you adore me, I am God, for example, I'm going to give you everything. But if you don't adore me, I'm not going to give you anything. If you don't love me, if you don't do my traditions, my dogmas, you are against me. Einstein couldn't believe on that. Of course, there are laws. The Spirit's book, they have explains quite well about these laws, such as the moral laws, the law of action and reaction, the law of reincarnation. We have several laws which human beings we have to follow, but it's our choice. We still cannot. We still can't. We don't have to follow if you don't want, but Kardec explains also to us that the human beings, they cannot stop the march of progress. So you cannot follow these universal laws for a while, not forever. What does that mean? That you cannot stay there on your corner, say, I don't want, I just want to do it my way, that's me, that's my way, and that's it. That song was Gabriela, I think the song is Gabriela. Eu nasci assim, eu sou assim. The Brazilian song, guys, sorry, which says about someone who was born in one way and always says, I'm this way. The universal laws go against this kind of thing, that everything must stay in the same state forever. The Spiritism and the universal laws claims to us that everything is mutable. So this vastly superior spirit must be much more clever than man. And that's why Einstein said that we must feel humble. So Einstein understood this universe which keeps changing. And another man which I really admired, Carl Sagan, he said also he was to be a cosmologist, astronomer, cosmologist. There is an amazing series that you can find I think it's from the 80s. Yeah, it's from the 80s, called Cosmos. Which you can find the kind of the more modern version now, with what's his name? I forgot the name of the guy. Oh God, I forgot. Tyler. Anyway, he used to be, I think, a student of Carl Sagan, and he has the more modern version of this series, Cosmos, which talks about the universe. I highly recommend each one of us to have a look. Just before we go, let's see here. So, Carl Sagan said, science is not only compatible with spirituality, it's a profound source of spirituality. When we recognize our place in immensity of light years and in the passage of ages, when we grasp the intricacy, beauty, and subtlety of life, then that soaring feeling, that's the sense of elation and humility combined, is surely spiritual. So again, a cosmologist, an astronomer, who perhaps for most of his life he was an atheist. I believe he died as an atheist. But in some videos you may hear that before he passed away, I think he passed away with cancer, he kind of, not that he changed, he started to believe in God. No, I mean, what's the problem of being an atheist? Because the problem, once we think of being an atheist, most of the atheists, they don't believe in the same God which Einstein was talking about, a personal God. They don't believe in a God of religion. That's the mix that we have in our brain. So I'm an atheist, but I'm an atheist because I don't believe in a God which is described perhaps in the Bible or in the other religious books. But once you see God, as Carl Sagan, as Einstein try to perhaps to grasp this idea of a universal God, a God which is, energy, who just wants the best of us. We're gonna see that in the next slide. But once we see this wonderful God which just wants us to progress, even if you don't believe in anything religious, you may believe that there is an energy. There is this strong force which keeps everything in the most beautiful harmony. Even like in the chaos, we find some harmony in our nature, in nature, not in our nature, in nature itself, And here we have in this really short book, normally, I mean, I'm using the Spirits book for doing this speech, but there is this really kind of, it's a short book, it's something like this, really, really tiny. I think it has maximum of 100 pages or something like this. I don't have it here with me, but it's quite short book. Spiritism in its simplest expression. This book here, Kardec wrote, taking parts of his 5 most important books, which is the Spirits book, Medium's book, Gospel according to Spiritism, Heaven and Hell, and the Genesis. We call the Pentateuch. Pentateuch. I'm not sure if the word is correct in English, but the 5 most important books of Kardec. Okay, and this book here shows like a lot of parts of these books, in a really simple way. That's why it's Spiritism in its simplest expression. So let's say for our Irish friends who doesn't want to go in a Spiritist book, which is quite thick, some people they don't like to read much, which is okay, this short book explains quite a lot. We always recommend to go to the 5 principles books, but if anyone wants to go have a look on this book, in the end, please ask me, but I'm going to leave a link of where you can find this book on Amazon and several links related to the speech. But here, which is actually the first question of the Spirit's book, the Spirit says, God is the supreme intelligence, the first cause of all things. God is eternal, infinite, unique, immaterial, and all-powerful, unconditional, and just, and good. He has to be infinite in all his perfections, since we would not suppose imperfectness or even of one his attributes. He would not be God. So basically, it's trying to say here, guys, God is just, he's all-powerful, He is eternal, he's immaterial, he's unconditional, but he's the extremely goodness in the universe. So once we're suffering around the world, we cannot presume that this suffer comes from God. No, this suffer comes from our actions, the actions that we take. Once we are using our free will in the wrong direction, once we are misusing our free will, we take actions in this life perhaps, or in the next lives, where we're gonna suffer the law of action and reaction working on us. Suffer is the wrong word, but we're gonna learn with the law of action and reaction. Because God cannot be bad, because He's all good. Because if God was bad, He would not be God. That's what you guys have to understand. Otherwise, all His perfection would not really exist. If he's not 100% good, if he's not 100% perfect, if he's not 100% infinite love and eternal, then he cannot be God. He could be an evolved spirit, but he would not be God, a perfect spirit. Does that make sense to you guys? Let me just check here. We have here Juliana, Carlos Felipe. Carlos Felipe is saying here, Cosby is one of the best series of all time. I prefer the first one of Carl Sagan. You can feel his love for science and teaching. I completely agree with you. Actually, I like a little bit more of the second, not because of I enjoy the first one because Carl Sagan is there, but the second has more like technology on it. So the images, they are nicer. But it's I agree with you with Carl Sagan. He was such a great person, one of the best cosmologists ever lived, and he had this kind of idea that this strong force exists. As we said, we call God. But that's what we have to understand, that if God doesn't have all these attributions here that we have in this slide, he cannot be God. He could be a high spirit, but not God, because he's good. And we have that phrase in the Bible which can kind of we can compare. I think it was it's in the Gospel of Luke when Jesus says that which father would give to his son a snake or a piece of stone once he asks for bread. So Jesus is trying to say to us, that a father, a man full of vices like we are, he's not gonna give bad things to his son, to his like a son made of flesh like us. So that father wouldn't give anything bad to his son unless he has a problem. Unfortunately, we have seen cases in the media now recently where people they don't really respect parenthood, but that's another topic. But anyway, we have to understand that even a father would give his best to his son. Imagine God. So we cannot conceive a God which is less good, and with all respect to all traditions and all religions and all philosophies, at least for myself, I only believe in Spiritism because I think this question here, and of course, once we study Spiritism, once we understand the law of action, reaction, law of reincarnation, why we suffer, where we can find beautiful and very explanatory paragraphs in the Spirit's book and the Gospel according to Spiritism, we understand that we are the masters of our own actions. So we understand that God must be good. Otherwise, to me at least, I wouldn't really believe in the existence of God. But because I talk too much and we have some time here, let's go to the second part, which is the existence of the soul and its mortality. The question 134, the Spirit says to us, souls are spirits. Before joining a body, the soul is one of the intelligent beings living in the invisible world. It assumes a physical body temporarily to complete its purification and enlightenment. So the spirits, they are everywhere in the universe. So they come to Earth, and not only to Earth, by the way, because there are, like, according to the Spirit's book, each globe in the universe have some kind of life. Maybe not life in the way that we perceive, like humans, maybe bacterial life. In some globes, lives like us, or spiritual life where the place is more evolved. but there is some kind of life. It's not because we are not seeing, like we see NASA nowadays going, with these satellites going even to Pluto to take pictures. They don't see any man, any green man, walking around. So they claim there is no life there. But it's not this kind of life we are seeing. It's like here we cannot feel energy. We cannot see the energy. I cannot see the light traveling, but lights are everywhere. Air is everywhere. So it's not because we don't see that we don't understand. We just start to understand gravity and internet, like, I don't know, internet for the last 30 years, and all these things here that we have nowadays have been existed before, but there was a need of an intelligent man to compile all these things to bring to us. So all the things, they are not invented or created, they are discovered. They are in nature already, but we need intelligent people to bring. So, and the spirit is just this. It uses the physical body in certain cases to complete its enlightenment and purification. Our cases. Here in that book, which I was saying, the simplest expression of spiritism, here in this kind of question, point 4, this Kardec says the spirits are invisible beings, housed and weightless, an ethereal envelope called perispirit, a kind of fluid body, similar in a form to the human's body. They inhabit this space and fly quickly through it. The spirits constitute the invisible world. And you can find more in the Spirits book questions from 93 to 95. So here he mentions the word called perispirit. Okay, so it says here to her that the spirits, they inhabit this space and they fly quick. In the Spirits book, Kardec explains to us that more evolved the spirit, morally speaking, the spirit can go anywhere in the universe he wants. Less evolved the spirit may stay only around its globe, around its psychosphere. In our case, Earth, because Earth is the planet which spirituality and Jesus and the mentors of the universe has given to us at the moment to evolve. But there are other planets where other spirits, they evolve also, but they were created, as we will see, simple and ignorant like us, without any kind of knowledge, and they pass throughout incarnation to progress themselves. Just here, a quick kind of image. I think we use this image quite a lot, but it's more or less for those who haven't seen. The first here, this kind of flame is the spirit. So the spirit doesn't have any kind of form and shape. It's just a flame. And I think according to André Luiz, according to its color, going more to the pink, chama violeta, violet, pink or violet color, it's more evolved the spirit. That's according to André Luiz, okay? In the middle, we have here this kind of flammable, but looks like a human body. That's the perispirit, which is the connection between the physical body, as you guys can see on my right here, the human body, and the spirit. So that's the link, that's the connection. And the Kardec explains to us that the perispirit is different according to the globe which the spirit lives. So this is more or less what the spirits, André Luiz books shows something quite similar also, but that's regarding to Earth. In high evolved spirits, guys, we have no idea. So if you go to Sirius, if you go to where Alcyone lives, in the book Renunciation by Chico Xavier, we have no idea how it's her perispirit there. So the perispirit will shape the globe that the spirit live. Okay, let me see here. Thanks, Elsa, for here for the Elsa saying. It's a wonderful talk. Thanks, Elsa. Stephen he's saying here also, the problem is because we humanize God. I 100% agree with you, Stephen. We give him all our imperfections. Yes, we give imperfection, shape, form. We give everything that we have to God. And we expect this white man with beard. So even this idea is even racist, because people have this thing in mind. But anyway, and Cynthia here is saying to us that God gives us the opportunity to evolve towards enlightenment, but we must remember we need to do our part to receive support and help from the good spirits. 100% agree with you, Cynthia, 100%. Okay, and also here she's mentioned here Janet Duncan. For those who doesn't know, Janet Duncan is one of the, I think maybe, sorry for what I'm saying, but I know she's old because I met her before in London, but she's one of the first spiritist workers in the UK, and she has translated also, I think, I'm not sure if she translated all the works of Kardec, but the Spirits book for sure she has translated. So she's really a great worker of the Spiritist UK movement. But anyway, let's go here, guys. So in the same book again, Spiritism, I'm gonna be mentioning this book, guys, because as I said, it's a wonderful book for us to start. If the person doesn't want to go to the Spirits book, it's what we recommend. But because it's easier to read. In this item 5 here, Kardec says, the origin and mode of creation of the spirits are unknown to us. We only know that they are created simple and ignorant. And we can see that in red here. I left it's 115. It's the question 115 in the Spirits book. That's why I left in red. It mentions this. So, the origin mode of the creation of the spirits are unknown to us. We only know that they are created simple and ignorant. And that's without science and without knowledge of good and evil, but with equal aptitude for everything, because God in his justice could not exempt from the work that they would have imposed to the others to arrive to his perfection. In the beginning, they are a kind of childhood. They are in the kind of childhood without their own will and without perfect awareness of their existence. That's what Cynthia said here to us. Okay? That's what she said basically here to us. That here we are in the beginning, we are created, but we have to do our part. He could not exempt some from the work that would have imposed to the others. And I left here, guys, perfection in red. Let's be quite clear. And I'm sorry, that's not a dogma, but that's quite obvious, guys. This perfection, anytime that you hear perfection in the works of Kardec, is a relative perfection. Because perfect, it's something which it's perfect. It's 100%. 100% is only God. But this perfection which the spirits are saying to us is the maximum level which a spirit can reach. Okay? So it's a really high stage, but it's not 100% perfection. Otherwise, we would be like God. And Stephen says here, she translated the gospel. I thought she translated also the Spirit's book, Stephen. So, mea culpa, guys. Apologies, but Stephen is correcting him here. She translated the gospel. Thanks, Stephen. In item 6 of the same book, developing free will in the spirits at the same time. No, developing free will in the spirits at the same time as the ideas. It's like God says to them, you can aspire to the supreme happiness once you have acquired the knowledge you lack and accomplished the task I established on you. That we can find also in the question 122 in the Spirit's book. Then work for your moral elevation. This is the goal. This is the goal. They will achieve it by following the laws which I have recorded in their conscience, that we can find in question 621. What is God's law written in a book, in a Bible, in the Quran, in the Bhagavad Gita, whatever? No, it's now in human conscience. That's what Kardec is referring here. As a result of their free will, some take shortest path, which is good, others the longest, which is evil. So here, this item 6, God is giving the chance to us and is putting us like a child, but he's asking us also to do our part. You know, we have to work on what? In our moral elevation. It's not about to become the most rich person on earth, to have the best jobs, to have the best cars, the best house, to be the most handsome, to be the strongest person. No, that's not the goal. I'm not saying that we cannot search for these things. Spiritism is not against materiality, against good materials. Spiritism is not against the material stuff on earth. Spiritism, as the gospel of Jesus, just says to us, do not make material things your main reason of life. If you do this, you are doomed, because then you forgot the main goal, which is to improve our moral elevation. This is the goal. This is the goal for us, to spirits, to go to different worlds, to progress. When Jesus says to us in the gospel, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is, the kingdom of God is, he's talking about this, our moral elevation. This work which is not outside, but inside. We do things outside because we live in the words of atonement and expiation. We live as a human beings in an incarnated physical body. So we have to do our external works. But the main work which is here is the internal. It's like Paul used to say to us, to fight the good fight, the fight which is worth to fight for. And this fight's not against anyone, it's against ourselves. Okay? So, and the Spirit explains to us that all these God's laws, not in a book, books such as the Bible, Quran, Bhagavad Gita, the works of Kardec, André Luiz, Chico Xavier, and many other spirits which who will come to earth and who will bring new knowledge to us for sure. Because Kardec says to us, the knowledge from the spirits didn't stop from my work. More workers will come bringing, other knowledges, not better, but other knowledges. Okay, so the works of God, they are coming towards us with different missionaries, different spirits who are bringing to us. We have many, in history. We have Jesus, we have Socrates, Plato, we have Buddha, Krishna. All these spirits, they come to bring some knowledge to us. But everything is written here already. That's everything. Because otherwise, let's say, if Jesus is the only way and the light, as the Bible says, let me just clarify what I'm saying here, guys. When Jesus says that to us, he's not saying, I'm the only way. He's saying, if you do what I'm saying to you, if you do the good things which I'm preaching here, doesn't matter what you believe, what you follow, where you are born, when you'll be born. You're okay, because you are working on your moral levels. But Jesus has to say, I'm the only way. I'm the door. Because he has to use this expression to people to hear him. But again, if Jesus was the only way, how about those who were born 300 years after Jesus in the extremely Asian part, or the Indians back when Brazil wasn't discovered by the Portuguese? So will they die and go to hell and not have their salvation? That doesn't make sense. Otherwise, if that makes sense, we go back to the personal God, to only one way. It's not only one way. But Jesus is trying to say to us, if you follow his teachings, which many other spirits brought, we are all right. And we have to keep progressing. We have to keep trying to follow. And here, because we have our everything is written in our conscience, as a result of the free will, some take the shortest path, which is good, and others the long, which is evil. Basically saying to us, we are spirits, we are created simple, ignorant, without knowledge, and whoever chooses the easiest one normally goes to the wrong side. Whoever tries to accept their conditions, their difficulties, and try to improve is choosing better. Because we always know that the easiest way, most of the time, is not really the best way. I don't know, I came to Ireland with no English at all. I still make plenty of mistakes with my English, but still, if I was just in the middle, like of Brazilians for like 10, 12 years that are here in Ireland, and if I didn't care about to learn and to improve my English, I would be in the same stage. I'm not in the perfect stage of my English, but at least I'm trying to improve. What I'm giving this example, what I'm trying to say is, for it doesn't matter what you are doing, you have to use your free will. And in general, the easiest way is not the best. So for you to learn something, for you to do something good in general, we have to use our free will, and normally we go to the more difficult side of things. Does that make sense, guys? Because we have several slides here. Let me just see here. Cynthia here saying to us, it's your self-perfection to become better every day in comparison to yourself. 100%. So Cynthia is correct. We have to be better than yesterday. Not better than the others, better than yesterday. If you do this each day of your life, every day of your life, oh God, we're gonna, really improve ourselves. But because we don't have much time, let's keep going. So now we're gonna be talking about the purpose of reincarnation. Kardec had the same idea, Kardec asked the same question to the spirits. What's the purpose of reincarnation? Why do we have to keep reincarnating? Why do we have to keep being born as a man, as a woman, in a different ethnical group, in a different time? Why? And the spirits, they are very clear. God establishes incarnation as a tool to reach perfection. Again, this kind of relative perfection. Okay, it's not 100% perfection, but this perfection, which is for us, is like, wow, it's outstanding. But let's keep going. God establishes incarnation as a tool to reach perfection. For some, it is a means of making amends, while for other, it's a mission. For some, it's a way of coming here to Earth. In this case, about Earth, as I said, could be in other globes, could be other parts of the universe. But here, the spirits are replying to Kardec regarding to Earth specifically. For some, to correct their mistakes. For others, such as Jesus, Buddha, Martin Luther King, other Mother Teresa, maybe Xavier, Irmã Dulce, all these spirits, Carl Sagan, which for me, he was a missionary. Personally, I believe that it's not said in the Spiritism, but he worked his entire life for science, in the way that to help us to understand the universe. So I really believe that he was a missionary. So for some spirits, it's to way to fix it. For some spirits, only for the small portions is a mission. But in general, it's for us to fix something. Every spirit must experience the difficulties of a physical existence to reach perfection. Therein lies their atonement. Incarnation also requires a spirit to contribute to the work of creation. Let me just, I think there is a second part. Yeah. So here, guys, it's quite simple. For us, in order to improve, otherwise, the Kardec asks in the Spirit's book, why don't you stay in the spiritual world and we improve there? Why do we have to reincarnate and to suffer? Because according to the Spirit's book and the works of André Luiz, to reincarnate is a huge process involving many, many spirits. And sometimes can be very, very painful. It could be a very painful process. Of course, I'm going to give here an extreme example, but according to Emmanuel, took over 4,000 years for the perispirit of Jesus to come, to condensate, and for him to be able to, again, going back to a physical body. Because Jesus, we cannot imagine that Jesus was created perfect, because otherwise it would go against the spiritual teachings. Okay? Jesus was a spirit like us, created simple and ignorant. He made so many mistakes. I guess less than us, because perhaps he used his free will better than most of us. And Emmanuel explains to us that the globes and the galaxies which Jesus evolved as a spirit in the beginning, they don't exist anymore. So they exploded already. They have that supernovas, which is the explosion of stars, which are building and rebuilding the universe. So where Jesus was evolving, that place doesn't exist anymore, and gave life to another place. And according to the works of the spirits, Jesus is a perfect spirit, or a pure spirit. Let's say the correct term is pure spirit, for over 14 billion years. When Earth was created, for over 4 billion years. 14 billion years is the age of the universe, more or less, according to science and cosmology. So when Earth was created around 4 billion years ago, Jesus was already a pure spirit. So in this question, just going back to the question, the second part of the answer, so here he says to us, incarnation also requires a spirit to contribute to the work of creation. And that's a quite nice thing. To fulfill this purpose, spirits assume physical bodies in harmony with the material state of each world to accomplish the missions that have been appointed them by God. So again, what the spirits are saying to us. So the spirit must use a physical body in a different globe, for example, where, let's give just an example, let's say in Jupiter or in Saturn, or another planet around the universe, or a star. That body which that spirit may use is different than ours, because it's according to the globe. It's according to the mission which the spirit has, also to the goals of its reincarnation, but also the physical conditions may change. Through these missions, they contribute to the general good while also achieving their own advancement. So through these missions, they contribute to the general good. Kardec asked the spirit, is it enough to just born here on earth and don't do anything, just to be quiet, having our Big Mac, enjoying the world, looking outside and say, wow, the world's a beautiful place, and don't do anything to progress or to help the others? And the spirit says to Kardec, no way. You must do the best you can with all the energies you have. It's not enough nowadays to only don't do anything. That's why in the book Evolution into Words from 1958, André Luiz brings to us two senses. Co-creators in major plans, which according to André Luiz, these are the high evolved spirits which already were working with God. That's why there is a huge misunderstanding here in the Bible. That's according to some scholars regarding to Spiritism, and even scholars regarding to the translations of the Bible, when Jesus say, I'm myself and God are one. So people, they start to believe that Jesus was God and vice versa. But in fact, André Luiz explains to us that when Jesus says that, he's saying that he's so tuned, he's so in tune with God's will, he's such such a nice vibration with God, that he sees himself as one with God. And these spirits, André Luiz called co-creator in major plans. Sorry for the translation. I'm going to say in Portuguese, just if I'm translating it wrong. Co-criadores em mundo maior. Co-criadores em mundo maior. Co-creator in major plans. These spirits, they are helping. They are the engineers of life around the universe. They are the engineers of galaxies, according to André Luiz. But let's go to the second part, because that's more here, closer to us, which is co-creators in smaller plans. Co-creadores em plano menor. André Luiz explains to us that that's majority of us. Even like certain spirits such as Chico Xavier, Emmanuel, all these spirits, André Luiz, they are all co-creators in smaller plans. They are not pure spirits yet. Chico Xavier, sometimes in the spirits movement, some people try to make him as a god. Chico wasn't a god. He was a spirit which perhaps took better decisions than us, and maybe it's older than us. So we can see Chico and Divaldo as our older brothers than we have, but they are not perfect. They are not gods. They are not in this second stage yet, but they are much closer than us, for sure. So here, through these missions, they contribute to the general good. So we have to be these co-creators who are contribute to the general work of Earth. But where to work? In our realms, at home, at work, with our partners, with those who are on us. These are the spheres that we have power to work. Okay. And here I have a really nice picture, which I really like, which, shows more or less reincarnation. So you are born, you are a baby, you grow, and you die, and you go back, and you keep coming. I think that's a kind of more or less an Hindu version of the incarnation, but I really believe it shows quite well this process. Of course, incarnations, they're not forever, according to the Spirit's book. Here on Earth, we're going to be reincarnating on Earth until we perfect our perispirit, our spirit. Then, according to the Spirit's book, we may live in other planets. We have several examples, of spirits who live in other planets. Bezerra de Menezes himself, according to the book Brasil, Pátria do Mundo, Quatro do Evangelho, Brazil, Heart of Pátria do Mundo, Brazil. I forgot the translation, guys. But according to one of the books of Chico Xavier, Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, he had the chance, I'm not sure actually if it's even in this book, but Dr. Bezerra de Menezes had the chance to incarnate in different globes around in our solar system, but he's still choosing to reincarnate here. So why I'm saying this? Because once you reach certain level of goodness, you are able to go to other globes to evolve according to Spiritism teachings. And here we have this famous phrase, which some they say that was from Kardec, but according to my research, according to history, it's not from Kardec. That was said actually the day that he passed away in his funeral, and that here, this stone here, it's his how you call it is lapid. It's in the cemetery where he was buried, and there is this phrase, which for those who know how to read French, go ahead, but in English is to be born, to grow, to die, and to reborn, and still, and to progress, always such as is the law. Nascer, morrer, tal é a lei. To be born, to grow, to die, to be reborn still, and to progress, always, such as is the law. So, because Kardec brought to us here in the Occidental world, especially in Europe, this idea of reincarnation in a more scientific way. Why I mean scientific, I'm going to say right now, but this phrase, it's written in Kardec's tomb, just for those who believe that Kardec said this, but in fact, according to history, it wasn't him. Maybe he said in certain time of his life, but I don't think so. I don't think he did. That was at his funeral. Why I mean in a more scientific way? I'm going to present here two gentlemen. One I had the chance to meet in person, which was here, Jim Tucker. I met him in London when I was in a conference with Elsa, which was really nice. But I'm gonna be talking about Ian Stevenson, a Canadian-born psychiatrist. He works in the University of Virginia, the School of Medicine, for over 50 years. And he was the chair of the Department of Psychiatry from 1957, 1967. You guys can research about him more on the internet. But Ian Stevenson, he did his work for, for more than 40 years, 50 years, he was working on reincarnation cases. And a lot of his cases were in Asia. So people, they start to think, you see, he's talking about reincarnation, but because in this Asian, India, in these countries, first because they are poor, and second because they more or less believe in this kind of reincarnation. So they have this some more memory, collective memory, that we say, I think psychiatrists, they say this term, collective memory, where people, they believe in, they remember certain things, but psychiatrists say that's not a memory, but is related to their culture and history. So people, they say, Ian Stevenson, you see, all these countries that you're talking about reincarnation, they have these factors. But one of his students, a guy who worked with him, Jim Tucker, who also is a psychiatrist, but a child psychiatrist, and associate professor of psychiatry and neurobehavioral science at the University of Virginia School of Medicine. His main research also was in reincarnation, So kids who claim, who have been born who had a previous life, but his studies, they were more related to American Canada. So American Canada, they don't believe reincarnation at all. I'm not saying that no one believes, but in general society, they don't have this belief, this tradition. And in general, they are not poor countries, like another scholars, they said about the work of Ian Stevenson, because they are poor and they believe in these things. That's why they are talking about they have this memory of past life. But in the case of Jim Tucker, no. He started to do his research and he started to see kids from American, Canadian wealth families where they have the same claim. There is several cases, I'm going to leave here right in the end of the speech several links from his work and several links about the videos which I used here on my speech. But there is a really nice speech from Jim Tucker in the links which I'm going to be leaving, which I really recommend everyone to watch on YouTube. But Jim Tucker, he started to study this case in America. There was one case which was quite interesting. I think National History Channel, they did something about this case, which was a young boy. I think he was 5 or 6 years old, or even less, 4 maybe. He started to have memories of being a pilot in the Second World War, and he started to say names and things that a normal that a child of his age wouldn't really know about. He started to say military codes, like several numbers of airplane numbers, boats numbers, military things in general. So people they say, and that time internet was just starting, guys, by the way. So his parents were start to say, he's watching TV and blah, blah, blah. But then even his parents, they start to say, hey, that's not only from the TV. There is something going on here. So they came to I think, to a major in the army, a general, I don't remember, just a second. And they asked, how about this number and these names that he's giving? And that man from the army, this major, said, how do you know this information, this classified information? This is private information from the army. How do you know this? And he starts to say, my son is saying that. And he starts, to say, to tell to this major about his son's history. And the guy said, okay, I'm not sure if your son is crazy, but a lot of things that he says make sense, and they are true. And one day, I think they got the youngest daughter of the pilot who passed away in this plane crash in the World War II. They were together in a room. After a while, they were talking. She left, and she said, I don't know how, but that's my brother. He said things that only my brother would know. And everyone starts to get worried. And one day, they got a boat, and they said, there is where my airplane was crashed. That's where I died, where I passed away. And they got, divers who went there, and they found actually, the airplane, which that soldier, I forgot his name, John, I forgot his name, that soldier in the Second World War has passed away. And he said, that's me. So that kid had no way of knowing that airplane was there. So, and that's one case. There is many other cases. So why I'm bringing this here? Because Spiritism is reincarnation, not something from Spiritism. Many other cultures, and now even the modern psychiatrists are considering it. But I really recommend it for you guys to have a look on the work of Ian Stevenson and Jim Tucker. As I said, I'm going to leave several links in the end. My time is ending now, guys, especially because I had a problem in the beginning. But I have this wonderful picture which shows to us different phases of our lives, which brings, at least to me, this sense of reincarnation. There are times that you are with someone that you love, you enjoy. There are times that you are by yourself in the autumn of life. There are times that you are old and alone in the winter of life. But life, as each year, when we talk about the 4 seasons, it keeps going back. It keeps going back. Of course, that's a metaphorical way, but what I'm trying to say that everything will pass. And if we do our best, once this everything will pass, we'll be better. We will have become better people, better beings. Okay, so we're gonna have difficult times. And reincarnation, as the Spirit says to us, is just a tool for us to progress, to keep going, to making ourselves close to the kingdom of God, to the kingdom of heaven, which Jesus said several times. And where is this kingdom? Emmanuel says to us, that's in the human heart. So we have to go back to inside ourselves, living our physical life, having the difficulties that we have the difficulties of reincarnation, but trying to progress. As Cynthia said to us, trying to become better than yesterday. And just to let you know, guys, so once I give the second part, I'm going to be talking about the communicability of the spirits and mediumship and the plurality of inhabited worlds. Okay? So that was the talk today, guys. Here, just before we finish, I don't know if you have any... okay, here, just here... talk about here. Dr. Yes, Elsa was saying here that Dr. Turker gave a talk. Yes, I was there. It was really good. Thanks, Elsa. Also, yes, here Adriana gave me the proper translation of the book, which now just run away from my mind. Brazil, Heart of the World, Homeland of the Gospel. Thank you, Adriana. And Daniela Paixão here said to us, for those who want to learn more about the levels of the spirit, I think it's really good to read the Spirit's book, chapter 1, part 2, the Spirit Hierarchy, question 100 to 131. It's really interesting. 100% agree with you, Daniela. You are the best. Thanks, guys. Here, guys, just to inform you guys, we're going to have on the, let me just make this picture here small, then you guys can see better. Okay, that was something regarding to my settings, but we're gonna have on the next 10th of September an event which will involve BUS, the British Union of Spiritist Societies, the British Spiritist Medical Association, ourselves, the Spiritist, the Spiritist, the Irish Spiritist Federation, and also will involve Kardec Radio, so the guys from America. The event itself is going to be about the World Suicide Prevention Day conference. We're going to have several speakers, such as Vanessa Anceloni, who we love here in Ireland. She helps us quite a lot. We have several speeches from her. Then Assis, our great friend, who is very close to us. Munir Gariba, Edir Paixão, another close friend to the Spirit Society of Ireland, Lawrence Saville, Matthew Robert, and here they are all people who talks about the prevention against suicide, but also the value of life, how life is wonderful and how life is important. This event is going to be on the 10th of September from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Kardec Radio will be the main coordinator of the event, but we're gonna have in the BUS Facebook page, in our page here, the Spirit Society of Ireland, and the Kardec Radio also. Let me see here if I forgot to say anything. If I forgot, Stephen will say something. Okay, so yeah, guys, please join. Have a look to this event that we're gonna have here on the 10th of September. Also, for those who doesn't know ourselves, we have our lives here every Tuesday and every Thursday, 7:15 p.m. Okay, and in general we have speakers, different speakers. Sometimes we do ourselves during the week. So each Tuesday and each Thursday from 7:15 until around 8:15, and on Sundays we have this chat here. From the Spirit Society of Ireland, which is 11:15 until more or less now, 11:15, a few minutes after. Today wait a bit further because I had my technical problems in the beginning. So we have these 3 days. And also, guys, for those who are asking when we're going to be back, unfortunately, guys, we don't have a date yet due to the COVID-19 situation, especially now because the cases they start to raise again in Ireland, unfortunately. That's why I would recommend to each one of us to try to follow the government instructions, try to follow as much as we can. We know it's hard. We know we want to stay close to friends, but let's, try to do whatever we want, but in the best and safest ways according to the Irish government. Let's try to do it. So because of this, we are not going back anytime soon to the Lantern Center or to a different place, at least into November or December, maybe even January. We don't know, guys. We cannot give you guys properly date. But for sure, once we know the date, we're gonna let you guys know here on our Facebook page. Let me see here if this comment went. Okay, let me just 1 second, guys, because I said I was going to leave. Okay, guys, so I just posted a link, guys, here on our comments, where we have some links to some Spiritist books. Okay. Some links for some videos regarding to the basic principles of Spiritism. Also some links of the videos of Jim Tucker, and the research of Ian Stevenson and the Perry Spirit, how it works. All these links here, guys, they are in English, okay? We have a lot of material in Portuguese, but in English, unfortunately, we don't have many materials. That's why I'm posting this here. And if you guys have any question, guys, during the week, guys, please let us know, and we can try to we're gonna try to reply as soon as we can on Facebook. So thanks everyone. Thanks Kellen, Camila, Samantha, Steven, Carlos, Elsa, Roberta, Cynthia, everyone who was here today, guys. Thank you very much for your time here, guys. Dona Vera, Kaká, Cássia, who else I'm missing here, but there is many people, God. Daniela, guys, thanks very much, guys. Really appreciate your time here. So it's time to start, actually a bit late, so we're gonna do our final prayer. So, again, for those who feel comfortable, I would like to invite you to close your eyes, to take a deep breath. We would like to thank the mentors of the group who are supporting and guiding us, the Spirit Society of Ireland, for more than 10 years, in the difficult times, in the good times, in the times of joy, but also now at this time of the COVID. You guys can be sure that each mentor of the group, that your own mentors, are always trying to support us in our daily decisions, around us, in the difficult times, when we feel that the world is against us. They are close to us. They are saying to us, raise up your mood, think about God, and do not forget that God is a Father of love first. And do not think about tomorrow. Think about today. Remember what Jesus said. To each trouble that we may have, the ones that we have for today is enough for us. So why do we have to be in such worry about what's coming tomorrow? Let's plan ourselves, but let's remember to enjoy today. Even when today is like today outside, raining and not in the best weather, let's try to admire and enjoy as much as we can. Thank God, thank our Master Jesus, thank the spirits of the Spiritual Society of Ireland, thanks also to our Master Kardec. So be it. Okay, guys, enjoy today. It's not really the best day outside, but still we can go out. Thank you, guys, and see you guys. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. I'm gonna end here.